Hey there, guys. I am live. And I'm just checking my phone to see if it's coming up. It's not coming up yet. Okay. All right, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Anyway, eventually it will come up. So I am going live today. And I am going to talk about the number one thing that I had to learn on my journey towards building wealth. And one of the things that I had to find or discover in my journey towards building wealth is that I'm not the only one who had to overcome this one thing. Hey there, guys. My name is Renee Collins. I'm a CPA financial planner, and I am also the founder of Retire Ready. Retire Ready is a firm that is dedicated towards helping families as well as business owners to develop a healthy relationship with their money so that they can save more, invest smart, and so that they can build wealth. So, what am I talking about? What am I talking about when I say there is one thing that I had to overcome in order for me to build wealth and achieve my financial goals? That one thing is my belief system. I had to challenge my belief system. So you may be asking, well, what exactly is our belief system? What I'm talking about are your convictions. What are your thoughts that run through your mind that you believe are true? And we all have it. We all have some thoughts that run through our mind that impact the way that we interact with our money, the way that we make financial decisions with our money. All of us have this, but we're not really conscious of it. You see, our conscious mind knows that we should be saving more, that we should be investing for the future, but our subconscious mind is holding on to doubts, to some fears, maybe some other experiences that we may have had in our lives. Maybe it's something that we heard from our parents or within our environment that's holding us back. And maybe even in conflict with our conscious mind. So we don't do what we know we need to do. And I'm just as guilty as anyone. You see, I was a finance major when I was in college. So I understood investing. I understood the importance of saving and budgeting. But for years, I wasn't doing it. You know, I raised my son as a single parent, and there was a point in time where when my son was about 8, 9 years old, I lost my job. And I didn't have an emergency fund. And like many of my clients, I felt like I knew better. I knew better. My conscious mind told me that I should have been saving, but I wasn't doing it. See, the one thing that we don't get in high school or college, one, we don't get the financial education. We're not getting the financial literacy. And many of us are not even making the connection between the financial literacy and the psychology of money. That was my problem because I knew that I should have been saving. I understood investments, but I wasn't doing it. You know, and that is a problem that many of us have. We're being held back by our subconscious beliefs. So, and here's what's interesting is that our self-conscious beliefs or our subconscious beliefs, many of us don't even know that we actually have them. And so we're making financial decisions around our lives about money, and we're not even aware of why we're doing it. We've been programmed. We've been programmed by our parents, by our experiences, things that we see on TV, the media, advertising, all of these things have had an impact, an influence on the way that we manage and interact with our money. And we don't even realize it in most cases. I didn't for years. So if you're telling yourself negative things about money, then I'm going to encourage you to challenge some of those beliefs. Are you telling yourself, here's the number one thing that I hear from my clients: I am not good with money. I was not good in math, therefore I am not good with my money. Now, let me ask you this. Why do you say that? So if you find yourself having negative interactions with money, if you're telling yourself things like this, or rich people are greedy, if you're saying things like this, or money doesn't grow on trees in the backyard, then I want you to challenge that belief. I want you to ask yourself, where did that come from? What is the origin of that belief? Because our beliefs are nothing more than stories that we've created in our minds based on what we've heard, experiences, our family. So we've created these beliefs from our thoughts that we've told ourselves over and over and over again. So if you find that you're having some of these conversations about money, then I want you to say, hey, where did this come from? Just stop. Wait a minute. Where did this come from? Find the origin of that story. And then I want you to pick it apart and say, why do I feel this way? What is coming up for me around this story? Is it true? Or maybe it was true at that time and it's no longer true today. Challenge it and say, why am I feeling this way? Why am I embracing this? Because we all have some of this. And I'll give you another example. I remember when I was studying for the CPA exam. And I remember being in college and the professors were saying like, oh, only 20% of people actually pass the CPA exam. And you want to talk about instilling some fear in people? It worked because it scared me. I was fearful to take the CPA exam. So fearful of taking it that I signed up for it. And then a week before the exam, I basically bailed out. Despite the fact that I had been studying day in, day out to take this exam. But I allowed my fears to overtake me. Because as soon as I signed up for the exam, I started hearing those little voices. You can't do this. Who do you think you are? You've never taken an exam like this before. Have you guys ever experienced anything like that? When you try to do something for the first time, all of these fears start to come to the surface. All of those little voices start to have conversations with you about what you can and cannot do. A lot of people experience this. And so what that is, it's important to understand, where's that coming from? See, our minds are designed to keep us safe and secure. And so when you start doing something that you've never done before, your mind starts to go into it just starts to go into kind of like this overdrive, like, wait, what are you doing? We've never done this before. What are you talking about? You're going to take a CPA exam? Wait a minute. And that's what I found myself. I found myself in this space that was filled with all of this anxiety because I had never done anything like that before. And eventually, I had to identify the fear and say, hey, where is this coming from? I had to stop and think about all the other things that I had accomplished in my life. I had gotten a bachelor's degree, and I did well. I had good grades. Why not me? I had to stop and think about, why couldn't I be a part of that 20% who did pass the exam? So that's how I want you to think about your beliefs when they start to come up for you. So you have to acknowledge them. The first step in making any change is acknowledgement. 2, you're going to have to find the source. Where's that coming from? Why am I feeling this way? You got to find out whether or not there's any truth in it. And is it serving you today? It may have served you before, but it may not be serving you today. And if it's not, then you need to find a way to replace that belief. And that's what I had to do as well. I had to tell myself that, I may not have taken an exam like this before. However, I'm taking it now. I had to acknowledge my fears. I had to talk to my fears and say, hey, it's okay. I am going to do this. And then from there, I had to create a plan of action and replace those limiting beliefs by telling myself that, what, I can do this. I am going to do this. And here's the plan in order to get me there. And I encourage you to do the same. So if you're having any type of limiting beliefs around scarcity, or just beliefs that you can't do something that you really want to do, acknowledge it, break it down, find the source, and then replace that belief. Because whatever it is that you want to do with your life, whether you want to build wealth, you want to get your children through college, you want to buy a home, whatever it is, there is a plan of action in order for you to do that. But you have to believe that it is possible for you. I'll give you another example. I worked with a client who told me that when she first started investing, she didn't believe that she could save 6 figures. She didn't believe that she could save $100,000 because, again, it was not something that she had ever done before in her life. And so starting down this path, learning how to invest, it made her afraid. And then her mind started to go into this whole fight or flight mode. Wait a minute, what are you doing? We can't do this, And then after talking to someone in her HR department, she realized that, hey, you know what? I'm just going to start small, but I am going to start. And eventually she built up that account that had $100,000 in her 401k. So it's important that we fight against our fears. It's important that we challenge our belief systems, because everything that we need to succeed is within us. And so if you're finding that you're struggling with your belief system, then I encourage you to not take this step alone. I've created a community called can't even pronounce the community, the Smart Women's Money Network. And it's a program for women to provide them with a safe space so that they can have these conversations around money, so that they will begin to understand that the journey that they're on, they're not in this by themselves. You can build wealth. You can get out of debt. You can save. You can send your children to college without having them to incur student loans. But we have to believe that it is possible for us. So I'm going to invite you to learn more about our organization, about our community of women. I will drop the information in the description. And if you have any questions, or even if you just want to have a conversation with a financial planner, I am going to put that information in the description. And feel free to take advantage of our 30-minute free consultation on any topic that you want to discuss. So remember that whatever it is that you want to achieve, you have it in you to do. So you guys go be great today and make it a great one. Take care now.